Abigail, say what you just said now that we're recording.
Good book. Real bummer.
Truly.
A really good book. But, ow! Throughout 300 pages of just...
This is not your candy romance.
I even struggled to call it a romance a little bit. Like...
I was thinking the same thing. It does have the required happy ending question mark.
Okay, so per the title, we read Regina Black's August Lane, a new to us author, right? You haven't read her before.
No, had not even heard of her before this.
I had not either, but we were recommended this via the New York Times romance writer, whose name I currently forget and should have pulled open.
Yeah, me too. But despite us not remembering her name, we do really enjoy the woman who writes about romance novels at the New York Times Book Review. And she had this, what was the headline? It was something like, if you only read one romance novel this year, make it this one, or something like that.
All right, I've just pulled it up. It is by, Olivia Waite.
Olivia, that's right.
Yes,
yeah.
We mentioned her in the last episode, we're just bad with names. The headline...
I'm a big fan, but can't remember your name. Sorry, Olivia.
We know this is how people think about us in our journalist careers, so...
Yeah, that one girl.
Yeah, she's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, the headline is, if you have time for just one romance novel, make it this one. And yeah. Okay, also, secondly, this book was hard to source. Like, it was at our library, but they only had, like, I don't know, like a couple copies, if not just one.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to get it in time.
No, and then tried to source it from all of my local bookstores in person. None of that worked out. I had to buy it on my Kindle. So...
Me too.
I'm hoping there is a paperback version of this book coming out. So I'm hoping she's getting enough good press about it that... Because, yeah, it seems like it had a pretty, what's the word? Not slow run, but like a
limited print run, yeah.
Yeah. We should have been maybe slightly more warned based on the summary that Olivia gave us of basically these two people do terrible things to each other in a way.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, okay, so, do we need to read the blurb?
Sure. If you have it in front of you, that would be nice.
All right. We may have read it last episode, but we're going to read it again.
I read part of the New York Times article. I don't know if I read the blurb.
That's right. Okay. Every Thursday night, former country music heartthrob Luke Randall has to sing another love song. God, he hates that song. But performing his lone hit at an interstate motel lounge is the only regular money he still has. Following another lackluster performance at the rock bottom of his career, Luke receives the opportunity of his dreams. Opening for his childhood idol, 90s-era black country music star JoJo Lane, who's being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. But the concert is in Arcadia, Arkansas, the small hometown he'd swore he'd never see again. Going back means facing a painful past of abuse and neglect. It also means facing JoJo's daughter, August Lane, the woman who wrote the lyrics he's always claimed as his own. August also hates that song, but she hates Luke Randall even more. When he shows up 10 years too late to apologize for his betrayal, she isn't interested in making amends. Instead, she threatens to expose his lies unless he co-writes a new song with her and performs it at the concert, something she hopes will launch her out of her mother's shadow and into a songwriting career of her own. Desperate to keep his secret, Luke agrees to put on the rogue performance, despite the risk of losing his shot at a new record deal. When Luke's guitar reunites with Austin's soulful alto... I'm not good at knowing the ranges. Soulful alto, neither can deny that the passionate bond they formed as teenagers is still there. As the concert nears, August will still have to choose between an overdue public reckoning with the boy who betrayed her or trusting the man he's become to write a different love song. Ooh. Okay, so...
Okay, I will say that makes it sound slightly more...
zany,
lighthearted than it ends up being. Because woof.
Okay, well, we will say this book comes with a trigger warning in the beginning of, terrible mothers, mention of sexual assault, a few other things. So, yeah. Anyway.
some light crime and more than light crime.
It's several crimes.
Several crimes.
Okay, so we start with the two who we meet both of them at pretty rock bottom points of their lives when they're in their, I want to say, early 30s or like very late 20s. And August is getting in a fight in the street with her boyfriend's wife, and Luke is at a terrible bar singing country covers, 5 years sober, with like no money, no career, nothing. And it ends up setting them both back to, well, August has not left Arcadia. Luke has to return, basically, to perform in this kind of... I was a little confused by how this was working. There's like a festival and a concert for her induction. It's going to be like live streamed. It's a whole to-do.
Yeah, I was pretty confused about why the Hall of Fame induction thing was not happening at the Hall of Fame, but... whatever, man.
Yeah, whatever, man. JoJo Lane is returning back to Arcadia to put on a concert for her hometown, and Luke is going to perform. I guess it was like a festival kind of situation, like before her actual induction.
Yeah, and it was like, they do this festival every year. Like, it's like a huge thing in this small town. They have a big music scene or something.
Yeah, the Delta Blues Festival, I think is what they call it, after the bar that August uncle owns. A lot of side characters in this book too, so apologies if I don't get all relationships and names correct. I should have made like one of those Pepe Sylvia webs. Like,
a little family tree.
Yeah. So this book ends up also being dual timeline to the current day where they're like reuniting, and neither has it great. Luke especially, to be honest. Yeah. Woof.
Yeah, Luke is like broke as fuck. August's grandma just died, and her grandma was like basically her mom. No one's doing well.
No one has ever really seemed to be doing well, unfortunately. In high school, Luke was living with an abusive mother and his little brother. August doesn't have it too bad. She's being raised by her grandmother, who does love her, but is fairly overprotective. But she also has a mother who straight up abandoned her for reasons that make more sense later in the book.
Yeah, at first she just seems like a really shitty mom, and then we realize that she's a shitty mom because her mom, the grandmother, made her like keep a child that she got pregnant with when she was, like 15 or something, right?
Yes, and who was the product of a sexual assault. So
yeah,
it is. It's tough. This is a tough book. Almost like it feels almost weird talking about it on this podcast.
It's certainly hard for us to go beat for beat through it, but I think it is one of the more, I guess passionate is maybe the closest word that I want. It's certainly one of the most like more passionate like love stories that we've dealt with on this podcast, just in terms of like how big and wide and deep their feelings for each other are. And so that was one thing that I was like really thinking about, is just like this book is sort of more than the and not that every romance we read is candy or whatever, but it's far more candy than this. But this one is more of like a testament to like unconditional love, I think, more so than a lot of the other books that we read, and what it means to like love somebody through something, even if you don't like them all the time. And so I think it's just a deeply different type of love story than the type that we're used to talking about on this podcast.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, because it is, you know, we're meeting these two characters in different points of their lives where like neither of them are doing very well. And they still, at both of these points, have a sort of optimism about them that is also not misplaced, but difficult, I think, for all of them to contend with at points. The teenagers, Luke and August, that's how their relationship starts, is August can write songs but can't write music. Luke can write music but can't really write lyrics. So he wants her to teach him to write songs. And then they form this very quick and deep friendship that ultimately becomes something more. And then through it's kind of hinted throughout the book, and we don't really learn until the very, very end how Luke kind of, I don't want to say quote unquote abandoned her, but he left.
Yeah, and he left and like inadvertently betrayed her in the process, but it was not purposeful or mean-spirited. It started as an act of protection, for like self-protection for him, and then turned into he got swept into something that he was just misinformed of, essentially. So, he leaves home because he gets into an altercation with his mom's then boyfriend, and like dude's about to go to jail if he doesn't flee. But then he ends up auditioning for this like American Idol-esque country show, and he plays a song that he and August wrote together, which she wrote the lyrics for, he wrote the music for. And he's like 18 years old and signing contracts, and this song turns into a big hit, and he doesn't realize until it's too late that he has like sort of accidentally lied that it's his song through a really bad, like, was it his publicist or whatever that was like, yeah, you wrote the music, so like it's your song.
Right.
And so he's basically like a kid getting swept up into like an industry that he doesn't understand. And so like, while his actions there aren't great, that he's not really telling the full truth, like it's completely understandable how this all went down.
Yes, when we get to that point of like learning how the lie kind of happened, you are a lot more sympathetic to the fact that this was a guy who was around nobody he knew, no one was looking out for him, and yeah, like he was taken advantage of. As of course a big point of the book is that this is about Black country singers and their place in the industry, in this genre, and also their places in their community as musicians and things like that. This is a very passionately and deeply written book also. Like, it demands attention and time. It's not a throw on an audiobook kind of book.
Yeah, this is a lot of times I read romance novels right before bed because I don't have to think too hard about them. I could not do that with this book. Like, this was my morning coffee reading time, not my, laying in bed with the lights off with one eye open looking at my Kindle kind of book. And I was just thinking, this is like not really related to what we were just talking about, but I was thinking about what we were saying about this being different than a lot of the books we normally talk about on this podcast. And I was thinking that I think one of the things that makes it a lot adds the depth to it is sort of the dual timeline, because if you look at the past sections of the book, you've got what could be a pretty lighthearted with some heavy stuff within it, a romance. And if you look at just the modern day pieces, that could have easily have been written as a separate book, sort of in the vein of the cartoon cover contemporary romances that we read today. But I think a big part of why this hits so hard is because we're getting to know the characters on both ends. And I think that adds a lot of the emotional depth, whereas if you kind of pulled those two parts apart and obviously fill in the gaps, you could have two very different and perhaps slightly more lighthearted novels. I think the fact that we get to know these people better might add some of that emotional weight.
Yeah, the dual timeline, I think you're absolutely right in that in meeting both of these characters, and actually kind of everybody in this book at two separate, very vulnerable points of their lives, you know, Luke and August especially, but also kind of everyone around them too. It just hurts all that much more kind of when you see them 10 years later still either struggling with the same things or struggling with like different things, or just understanding more so of how we got to this place. And I mean, that is realistic. That's this book deals a lot with, yeah, like I don't know. I don't want this to come off like after school specially the way I'm going to say it, but these are like actual real life problems of like poverty, racism, sexual assault,
teen pregnancy.
Yeah. Tension in religion, like in the South, like all of kind of anything you can think of as like a heavy topic. I felt like got touched on in this book, and it is a lot for 325 pages. Too.
Yes. Yeah, like I don't want to say there's like a ton of plot because I don't want to imply that there's too much, but there's like things keep moving. There are no lulls whatsoever in this book. There are some brief moments of levity that I think help a lot. And I also think I never know how to say this word. This book is also epistolary. You know the word I'm trying to say?
I think so, but I also can't tell you if you're saying it right.
Okay, whatever. I can sound like an idiot, but it's essentially the equivalent of a mixed media kind of situation where we've got excerpts from a podcast interview that presumably is happening in like current day as the book is being written kind of moment. Of August's mom doing a podcast interview, and some other brief sort of interludes like that I think help like kind of close the gap between any potential lulls that there might be. So like Regina Black keeps the shit moving the entire time. Epistolary is how you say it.
Yeah, you weren't totally off with. What'd you say?
Epistolary.
Epistolary, yeah.
I was just making the T silent like an apostle. Apostle.
Honestly, I looked it up and I was like, yeah, that sounds right. Apostle?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, but then I got sucked into a whole thing because all of the definitions say that it only has to do with letters. And so I think that's sort of a term that the book community might have co-opted to mean anything that's not just like normal text, but I'm going to stand by it.
I think it works here. I think you're probably right. But yeah, the podcast at first confused me a little bit too based on the timelines that we were having. We have 2009 when they're in high school, 2023 leading up to this festival, and then the podcast is happening in 2024. So it's really interesting, like weaving together basically three timelines, especially once we get to the end and recognizing, oh, fuck, now I'm mad about this, actually. And like, this is a book that I think will lend itself really well to a reread. So
I completely agree. I also really want to see this book turned into like a rom-dram, like Hulu series or something.
Yes, oh gosh, I mean, I've never seen a movie.
I don't know if you watched the TV show version of Daisy Jones and the Six, like kind of like that.
I didn't,
yeah.
But
it's good. I thought it was good.
I know everyone really liked it and that they did a good job with the songs. By the way, the songs written in this book, actually really good.
Yeah.
The Regina Black's lyricism, incredible. I don't know if she actually writes songs, but they're really good. Or if she's a poet, or, you know.
Well, in the author's note or whatever, the acknowledgments at the end, she says that she's, grown up a fan of country music and stuff. So maybe she's just good at sort of imitating the things that she likes.
Okay, hold on. They keep busting through the gate.
How?
It's not a gate. It's like a big piece of like cloth. So you know what I'm going to do? We're going down to my mom's room. and I'm going to close that door and then close the bathroom door, and I'm going to be in the bathroom. All right. Here I am on my mom's bathroom floor. So, if I'm echoing...
Yep, there you are.
Yep.
It's fine.
Okay, well, when I put in this...
Oh, now you don't have service anymore.
Motherfucker.
Here I am talking to myself while Abigail figures out her internet. I don't know if any of this will make it in, but I'll tell the rest of you that I'm going through and I am updating my Storygraph challenges, which I always join them at the beginning of the year. And then I forget to actually add books to them. So currently I'm going through the challenge on Storygraph that is the Pop Sugar 2025 Reading Challenge. And so the first prompt is a book about a POC experiencing joy and not trauma. And so I added an Abby Jimenez book to that I've already read. I'm trying to find books that I've already read this year to fit the prompts, you know. The second prompt is a book you want to read based on the last sentence, which, how would I know that? Because I haven't read the book, so I don't know what the last sentence is. But I do have Grady Hendrix's Witchcraft for Wayward Girls on my TBR. I actually think I just got off the library waitlist for it, or I'm about to. So I'm going to add that one because if somebody else says it's a good last sentence, then maybe I should roll with it. So I'm going to do that. Book number 3 is a book about space tourism, which is not something particularly interesting to me, but I did think about Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I quite enjoyed. I don't know if I would call that space tourism because they're astronauts, but it looks like somebody else added it to their list, so I'm going to do that too. So moving on. So I fulfilled 2 prompts. A book with 2 more books. Hang on. Read, Katie. A book with 2 or more books on the cover or book in the title. Abigail is texting me saying that she's lost me. I'm telling her I'm in the room still. This is a book with 2 or more books on the cover or book in the title. I had to have read a book that has the word book in the title this year. There she is. She's back. I've been talking to the people the entire time.
See what we do for you all.
I was going through my Storygraph, adding books to one of the 2025 reading challenges and talking them through it as I went. Maybe that'll make it into the final version, or maybe it won't. We'll see.
Where were we?
We were talking about this book getting the Daisy Jones and the Six treatment.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. A book I have not read, nor a series I watched. I'll take your word for it and the people's words. But who's to say? Anyway, the music aspect of this book actually did work for me. What were we talking about recent? There was a different book where it was like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, this actually works.
It was Sounds Like Love. Was that the one that we thought that it worked?
Maybe so. This book did remind me of us.
The 831 Stories one that we read.
Oh,
there
was
a song in. Because there was a song.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
that
was it.
Yes. Sounds Like Love. It did work in some ways for me. And then I did listen to the song that they made. And I was like, I kind of hate it. It's kind of awful.
Not good.
Nope. But you can go listen to it, which is nice that they did that.
It's really cute that they made it, but it's not a good song.
No, it's not good at all, and that's fine.
Nope.
No.
One thing that I do want to say is that I really think that this book is great to read whether you are a country music fan or not, because there is a lot of really interesting like context and cultural conversation around like Black country artists in general, like in the world, but also like in this book, it is like a really nuanced and interesting take, and it is like threaded throughout the book in a way that feels very genuine and authentic and not like an after school special.
Yes, I completely agree. I also felt that way about the way that this book represents all of those things like poverty, like abusive relationships. Like it's not sugar coated. It's not after school specially in a way that it's like, oh, this person doesn't know about these things at all and is trying to like, you know, talk about them without experience. Like I did not read, I don't know Regina Black's background, but if she had grown up like in a town like Arcadia, I would not be surprised at all.
Same.
It's written like a place that she knows and understands and has complicated affection for, which I think is something that we don't get as often toward the South. Like we live in Texas, so I always kind of put Texas in a different category of the South, but like the South especially doesn't always get that treatment. And it takes people who understand it and know it, and especially like the struggles that come with growing up in those places to actually write about it and make them understood, but also have affection for them that is seen and understood in these works too. Like I hope that makes sense, but it's not like, it's looking at a place for what it is and accurately portraying it for characters who have a love-hate relationship with where they grew up. And you see that most in, I mean, both of these characters, one who left and one who did not leave, and how they both kind of reckon with that, where Luke says he never intended to come back toward the end of the book or at some point in the book, and then he's making plans to stay and not leave at all, even if August leaves for a time. Like he's not going anywhere at this point. And should we talk about the ending?
Yes, but one more thing that I want to say on that topic is that, you know, we've really come into a theme this year accidentally of books that end up being quite a bit about the mixed emotions of home and staying home or returning home or whatever. And I think this book really dealt with it in the most like realistic and grounded way.
I think that's absolutely true. And in the kind of, again, most, as we keep mentioning, in the maybe least contemporary romance-esque way than we usually read, but in a way that is, realistic. And I like the extended theme of that, of returning to your hometown, is like returning to your hometown after a big disappointment, returning to your hometown despite not having any intention of ever doing so. And like, I don't return to my hometown very much anymore because like my parents, my dad still lives in the area, but even then he like doesn't live like where I went to high school and whatnot. And like I don't really intend on ever going back there. So it's a weird feeling, and one that, you know, okay, I'm a random tangent, but I watched that silly rom-com on Netflix, Paris, The Wrong Paris or whatever.
I did too. I quite enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. And well, that's what I'll tell the people is like, actually, we enjoyed it. And its representation of Texas, not that inaccurate. Pretty accurate in lots of ways. I mean, it's a little parody, but it's
it's pretty zhuzhed up, but I enjoyed it. And Phil actually enjoyed it as well. My boyfriend enjoyed it. We did make fun of it pretty much the entire time we watched it, but in a loving way. Oh yeah,
it's still a Netflix rom-com. Like don't get me wrong, it's not winning any Oscars anytime soon,
right?
Or ever. But like the portrayals of like Texas felt still accurate enough to me. Like I think one of the biggest, and like something, you know, I noticed in this book too, is like, I think sometimes when we look in books or pieces of media of the South and Texas and places where like religion is important, is that it often gets like completely taken out. and there's like no mention of it, or it'll be like, oh yeah, my parents go to the Unitarian church, and it's like, well, that's not real life.
Right.
No, they don't. Like, so
Not in that small town, they don't.
No, I don't buy that in like small town Texas, really. Right. That's just, and so like the wrong Paris had this offhand line of like, oh, I have to take my grandma to Bible study tomorrow. And I was like, oh yeah, that's real.
That was the moment where I was like, I see what Abigail was talking about now.
Yeah, like, and it's not my silly grandma still goes to church. It was like oh no, she just got to go to Bible study tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the way church is also portrayed in this book as a thing that is complicated for most of the characters, but also a good thing for a lot of the characters. At the end of the day, this book has so much nuance in the way that it kind of portrays everything. So
yeah,
I really commend Regina Black, because this is a tight 325 pages, a book that I could even stand to have like 100 more pages of.
Yeah,
potentially. I think it could have had a little bit of space to breathe at points, maybe. I don't know. But like, I'm not going to complain about a tight 300-page book either.
Yeah. I didn't feel like it left anything on the table, really, but I don't think more time would have hurt it.
I think you're right. Okay, now I do want to talk about the end.
Yeah.
So the way the book kind of ends and what kicks off like the ending of the book, and it really runs at like a breakneck speed kind of for the last 80 or so pages, where Luke is rehearsing at the festival. There's a bunch of press there because there are protesters who are protesting JoJo's inclusion in the Hall of Fame. So they're protesting the festival. Obviously, it's horrible and racist, and they're awful. But Luke is rehearsing, and August kind of gets up there, and they end up like making a scene on accident. Photographers catch them kissing. Luke is technically still married. Oh yeah, there's like queer issues in this book too. Like, forgot about that. My goodness, he's married to a woman who is actually in love with another woman, but can't come out because she's a country singer also. Anyway, so then Luke gets embroiled in the scandal, and then August gets dragged into it because she's like, you know, the other woman or whatever. And Luke is married to a white woman, so there's that. And then Luke goes out into the press and is like, actually, August wrote that song. Here's what happened to me, etc. And kind of like destroys his own career, you know. And he knows he's doing this, and he's like, well, yeah, I love August, and I want her to take this chance, basically. August gets all these offers. She is offered to perform with her mother at the festival instead. And then 2 weeks before the festival, August is like going to rehearsal. Her mom is supposed to be there, and then just straight up does not come.
It's pretty fucked.
That's how the book ends. Is like August and everyone getting the call that JoJo is not coming. And it just ends with Luke coming to August's side and basically like, which is really a really heartbreaking and beautiful ending of like, at the end of the day, it's these two, despite both of their mothers always disappointing them in one way or the other. And both of them also coming to terms with the fact that they might not forgive their mothers.
Yeah, and in the podcast part, we find out that like August's mom is like, well, I wanted this moment to be about August. Bitch, no, you didn't. Like, come on.
No.
But as you were talking, I was trying to find this quote that I highlighted that showed up as one of the like most highlighted quotes for like that the Kindle does, which is the good thing about having to buy this book on Kindle, because I know like seeing the parts that other people highlight, and I miss that sometimes. This was from chapter 11. I don't remember the context of it, but it happening so early in the book is like really interesting foreshadowing for how the book ends. And like you said, like both of them kind of realizing what their situation is. The quote is, "No one ever won those, though, wars waged on mothers. You can't change who carried you. Sift through the skeletons in your closet and you'll find their bones."
Damn.
That was my favorite line of the whole book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The the prose in this book is crazy. It is
beautiful.
So good.
I highlighted a lot more than I normally do.
Yeah, like I said, this is a book that you have to pay attention to. I actually listened to some of this book on audiobook, like while I was driving. I'm in Houston this week, everybody. Hence why I'm sitting in a bathroom echoing right now. But like I was finishing it today via audiobook, and it like works. Like it was a fine audiobook. It's got two narrators, but there is an intimacy to reading this book in print, and also a book that I kind of wish I had read like in a physical copy and not on my Kindle. But to your point,
Me too. I wish I would have been able to find it. Maybe when it comes out in paperback, I'll get it.
Yeah, like we planned more in advance, we could have ordered it, through First Light or Book People or whatever. Yeah. But the only place I actually found it physically in stock was the Sugarland Barnes and Noble. And then I was like about to go get it, but it didn't work out timing wise. And I was like, well, it's on sale on Kindle. Like, let me just get it. And I do want the paperback when it comes out. So anyway, all that to say, give Regina Black a wider pressing, please, because this is really good. But ow.
Yeah, I want to go back and read her other book now, which it's apparently called The Art of Scandal, which I've never heard of. Let me see what the genre is. I don't know if it's a romance or what. Let's look it up. Oh, it is a romance with 3.8 stars on Goodreads.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, shit. Okay. Let me read the blurb for you.
All right.
On the night of her husband Matt's 40th birthday, Rachel Abbott receives a sexy, explicit text from her husband that she quickly realizes was meant for another woman. Divorce is inevitable, and Rachel is determined not to leave her 13-year marriage empty-handed. Meanwhile, Matt, a rising star mayor with his eye on the White House, can't afford a messy split in the middle of his re-election campaign. They strike a deal. Rachel gets $1 million and their lavish house in the wealthy D.C. suburb of Oasis Springs, as long as she keeps playing the ideal black trophy wife until the election. Then Rachel meets Nathan Vasquez, a very handsome, very lost 26-year-old artist, and their connection makes Rachel forget about being the perfect politician's wife. As Rachel reawakens Nathan's long-dormant artistic aspirations, their attraction becomes impossible to resist. But secrets are hard to keep in a town like Oasis Springs, and Nathan has a few of his own. With the risk of scandal looming and their hearts on the line, they'll have to decide whether the possibility of losing everything is worth taking a chance on love.
Damn, okay, well that's kind of crazy.
It sounds pretty good.
That does sound good.
I'm about to put myself... Please let the library have it.
Please,
I'm about to go put myself on the wait list right now. It sounds super good. The Art of Scandal. Yes, sir. Ooh, no wait through the Austin Public Library.
Hell yeah. I love when that happens.
I love it here.
Okay, so, yeah, what we've covered... Terrible moms. We've covered
Black country artists.
Yes. We've covered the South. We've covered, I think, like, we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but this also being a romance about like two people truly at rock bottom. I think like we have a lot of romances where one of is at rock bottom and one is kind of steady, or they're all kind of like a little bit lost. No, this is like real. This is the theme of this book is the way that they keep finding each other in the times that they need it most, of like loneliness in high school. I guess not times, but 2 times that they need it most, of like Luke is this kind of popular guy in high school that is struggling with the fact that he's being horribly abused at home, and August is like a big loner, and people make fun of her and aren't like ostracize her, and she doesn't really have any friends, and her mom like doesn't care about her, and so this is what this is. These are the, like, I don't like to throw around the word like soulmates, but this is a book about soulmates.
Yeah,
kind of. And
well, and it's like I was saying earlier, it's about, actually, in more ways than one, it's about unconditional love, and unconditional love between romantic partners, but also, between family members. And I think I'm kind of coming to this thought as I'm talking, so it might not come out right, but it's like, it's sort of about people who didn't get unconditional love from the places that you're supposed to get it from, but they found it with each other.
yes, there is a point later on in the book where August is, I don't have it highlighted, so I can't quote it exactly, but where she's talking about how Luke can't write a love song, or he says he can't write a love song, and it's because he didn't have any examples of unconditional love or love the way that you're supposed to from your mom, from your friends, from, kind of anybody at that point. And yeah, that was another just like gut punch. We talk a lot about in these books and even in our own lives about like community and having a village and like found family, and that this is a book where that is kind of like all these two people have, like, that, they have people cheering them on or people on the sidelines who are helping them. And like Silas was a great character, and like one I really appreciated his presence on the page for both characters of taking these two kids like under his wing and like protecting them, and ultimately being the one to like help get Luke out but also bring Luke back in. Is a really beautiful and kind of like, as not as a favor to August, but it's like a full circle moment of August's dad is horrible, Luke doesn't have a father figure, here is this person who kind of in a way facilitates them actually being able to be together finally.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this, like, it's found family, but it's also like family members that act as parental figures that are not actual parents, like the parent of the main character, right? Like we have Silas,
Right,
who is related, we have Bertie, who is related, even not really parental, but even Mavis, August's cousin, plays a bigger role than any parent really does in this book. And so yeah, it's sort of about like non-traditional family relationships, but also like I think there's a hopeful message there too, even though, I made a joke about it has a happy ending and that they end up together, right? But like maybe that sort of is the happy ending, though, is like there's hope for these two people who grew up without this type of love. Like they still found it, which is really nice to think about.
yeah, I think the image at the end of like Luke just showing up for August when she's faced another disappointment from her mom and being like, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, is like what you said, the reassurance that actually all of these disappointments that you've had before this that have felt like actually world crushing and like we're world crushing don't have to be any longer. Like you don't have to face them by yourself.
Right.
And I also really appreciated that Ethan, Luke's brother, and Luke at the end are like, we're probably not going to like forgive our mother. And also like, I think Luke at one point says like, I don't even know if I'll ever see her again.
Right.
Like, I don't really care. And I think one of the things that halfway through the book I was kind of struggling with was the dual timeline aspect of like, I was understanding that they were both hurt and kind of coming back together, but I didn't really understand fully the bond that they had made as teenagers and like why there was so much of that tension later on in their life. Like I wanted a little bit more context, I felt like, until before we got to them as adults. Maybe not even so much Luke leaving, but like why August was so hurt. And then,
why they were so hung up on each other, because it took us a long time to get in the past timeline. It took us a long time to get to them actually like really deeply caring for each other.
Yes, exactly.
So while I don't have really an issue with the structure of the book, it would have been nice if there were a few more little breadcrumbs left for us earlier on.
Yes, I think, what was intended to sell it and what does sell it is ultimately this moment of August actually rescuing Luke from his house when he quite literally almost dies, it seems like. And after his mother locks him out and he breaks a window and hurts himself. If there's anything I've learned from books and movies, don't punch a window out. Never.
Dude, honestly,
Absolutely
you're just
not.
going to cut yourself up. You might achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve, but you're going to get real fucked up on the way there.
Yeah, you throw the rock, you keep throwing rocks until like the whole thing is busted out.
And don't crawl through it unless it's like real busted out.
Yeah, and like be really careful, guys. Or frankly, don't if you
Actually,
gotta bust
don't
a window.
do any of this.
Yeah, don't. I hope you never have to be in a situation where you have to bust a window. But if you do, like, oh my gosh, I had to stop watching that Netflix show Made from when she busts out the window and starts bleeding really badly.
Oh yeah.
Or what's that one? It's the comedy with where the other guys where he punches out the window and then he has to spend the rest of the movie in a cast.
Oh
right. So yeah, this almost feels like a trope at this point. Like punch out a window, get horrifically injured. So like as soon as I was like he threw the rock through the window, oh no, he's gonna cut his arm up.
Yeah,
like I know it was coming. But anyway. It does become this, like, really, like, this is another scene where I'm like, this would make a great, like, drama of when they're at Silas's bar after she takes Luke away from the house and they have to, like, they can't call the cops. So they can't, like, and August
it
is
felt
like,
very cinematic.
Yes. And this was a point where I was listening to the audiobook too. And I will say the narrator did a really good job at this point. Because this is the first time we also see like August really break. And it's pretty late in the book. It's like 75% around.
Yeah.
So you've got these characters who have been pretty stoic, or August who's been pretty stoic. And this is when you see her really just like break down.
I would like to state for the record that they kiss at 50% in this book.
I didn't take note.
It might have been 51, but it was like right there.
Hell yeah, the math prevails once again.
Yep.
Once again.
I love when we're right. Yeah.
I love when we're right. Yeah, I will say also, not a lot of kissing in this book. Not a lot of, like, this is not the book for sex scenes. There's one very good one. It's toward the end.
Yeah,
no, this is a romance with a really big asterisk. And
yes, it does technically meet the requirements of the genre.
But it takes...
And that might be where we can leave it. It's a journey to get there.
A journey that I am glad to have taken, for sure. Like, don't get us wrong.
I really, really, really liked this book. I thought it... I mean, saying liked about a book like this is even hard. This was a great book.
Yes, this was a great book. This was a book that I read and like am leaving with something and that something is not just like, oh, that was fun and I'm going to forget about it later.
And I think this is a good book for folks who like might be like, maybe I want to read something other than a romance, but I don't know what I want to read. I think this would be a good sort of like in between genres type thing. And I think it's also a book that people who don't read romance would enjoy,
right?
As well.
I think so too. Like this is like a book I could even give like Austin to read, and I think he would enjoy. Not that Austin doesn't like a romance; he's on this podcast at one point discussing a romance. But like I could give this book to anybody. Yeah, like even dudes who don't read romance and feel like, yeah, no, this was a good book. Read this book. Like,
yeah, so shout out to Olivia Waite for helping us discover, not the first time that she's led me to pick up something that I had literally never heard of otherwise. So shout out to you, girlfriend, but also no thank you for the emotional trauma that you've left us with.
Yeah. This book reminded me of, and it's the only time I've ever returned a book to Barnes & Noble. I was a teenager, so forgive me for my sins, everyone. But when I read Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell in high school, and it's about two teenagers who are both facing some pretty hard shit, and it ends very abruptly with them, like, spoiler alert, not together. And I was so mad, like, angry. And the next day I, like, went back to Barnes & Noble and I was like, I just got it for somebody and I don't think they'll like. I felt really bad about it.
Being so mad at a book that you return it is honestly kind of hilarious.
I was like, and I literally had bought it in Barnes & Noble the day before, finished it that night, and then went back the next day.
That is so funny.
But I was 16 and not understanding the nuances of a romance that explores grief and all of these heavy topics.
Sure, you just wanted your silly little story.
Well, I think even what I just really wanted was like a happy ending, and it kind of doesn't have one.
Right.
And then in adulthood, now that book reminds me of The Unsinkable Greta James, which also ends with them not together. Yeah. And I love that book. Like, I would be curious to revisit Eleanor and Park, and probably with my enlightened taste now, probably be like, no, this is a really good book.
Yeah, I read Eleanor and Park for the first time as an adult, and I quite liked it.
Yeah, perhaps I will revisit that one because heavy. This book, but this book reminded me of Eleanor and Park. Mm-hmm. August Lane, the high school aspect of it reminded me a lot of Eleanor and Park. Teenage girls who are going through absolutely horrific things. And
it also reminded me of, what's that Nicola Yoon book? Everything. Or no.
Oh, I haven't read.
No, The Sun is Also a Star. Have you read that one?
I have not read that one.
It reminded me a lot of that. Not even the story, just sort of like the feeling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This reminded me a lot of Nicola Yoon, just in general, her YA stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Oh, man. Okay. Anything else we should discuss about this book? Sorry for a very meandering episode, you guys, but what's new?
We're sort of in a chaotic spot right now. Like you said, what's new? What are you going to pick up next, or have you picked up something else, or what's on your agenda?
Well, in a very big, like, tone shift, I was reading, which I just, Sarah Adler just posted about it. Actually, this is good timing because apparently, like, this week or today was the pub day for Ellen O'Clover.
Yesterday. Today?
Yeah. Yesterday, sorry. I saw the post today, but...
yesterday as we're recording this, 2 days ago as it comes out.
Yes. Ellen O'Clover's debut, The Heartbreak Hotel, which was a book of the month. And it's really lovely so far. It's really cozy. And it's really a good autumnal book. Like, it takes place in Colorado, and the book, like, starts, I think, in August. Or it starts in the summer, and then it moves into the fall. I'm about... maybe like a third of the way through it. The romance I'm having a little bit of trouble buying into because there's kind of what feels to me like a significant age gap. It's not really. It's like she's 26 and he's like in his early 30s. But for me, they're like, it's a hot vet who like owns a house and has his life together. And then a woman who is living in his rental property and deciding to turn it into a B&B with no B&B experience. So
there might be a slight power imbalance there too.
A little bit, yeah. So like I'm not going to knock it yet until like I finish it, but I am having a little bit of trouble buying into it because I'm like, baby girl, you're really chaotic and you don't seem to understand how like business works. And this...
So are you still on us doing this for our next book, for our next read on the pod?
Oh, Heartbreak Hotel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah, I think it would be fun.
I thought that was the plan. I thought we said that. Maybe we didn't say that. Okay. I was I think we told the people we were doing that.
Yeah, I guess we did. Well, I got confused because we were also talking about our witch romances because our next episode will be in October.
I know. So I think we should do that one that I sent you, that I pointed out, like, oh, this one sounds good out of that list of, like, the ones for Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh, yes, let's do that. That is actually Love's a Witch by Trisha O'Malley. No, not that one.
Which You Would by Leah Amador.
Yes, let's do that one. All right, we're amending our schedule.
Yeah, I found it. We can still totally do Heartbreak Hotel. Is that what it's called? Heartbreak Hotel?
Yes.
Okay, I just had like a stroke.
Thankfully, that is not what they end up calling the B&B, which I was terrified of because I was like, it's a terrible name. Anyway, keep going.
We can still do that, but we've only got like so many October episodes. We got.
I know. Nope. Sorry, we got to do 2 witches. It's tradition.
So I found this book in a People magazine article that was called 9 Hot Witchy Books to Read for Hispanic Heritage Month. So I was like, fuck yeah. I'm going to click on that. And here's not the official blurb, but what People wrote about it. In another magical Miami tale, maybe one of the ones earlier in the article also happened in Miami, but a broke witch who works in a spell shop and an adjunct professor who's secretly a popular himbo mage team up to win a spell casting reality show competition. Except someone is sabotaging the contestants' work. This book is for all of us who love the Great British Baking Show and blown away with actual magic instead of baking or crafting that only seems like wizardry. The love story is reluctant allies to lovers with a dash of fake dating, a pinch of pen pals, and a whole clove of secret identities and so many puns.
Well, alrighty then.
Yeah,
I guess we're in.
I'm so in.
Yes. The other one in this list that's set in Miami is called What the Hex, which is a novella by Alexis Daria. So,
okay.
There's the other Miami
I think she
one.
writes most of her books based in Miami.
Nice.
So
okay.
yeah, that is our first witch of the season. We need a little more time to determine our second witch.
Luckily, it seems we have many options.
We do. Did you know Josie Silver is dropping 2 Halloween romances?
What?
Yeah.
No.
One's called like Crazy Spooky Love. Hang on. Halloween romance. It's called the Melody Bittersweet series, and both of them came out this month. One came out September 2nd, and the other one is coming out October 28th.
Holy shit, Josie.
So the first one is called Crazy Spooky Love, and the second one is called Kooky Spooky Love. And the covers are really adorable.
I'm looking at the cover for Crazy Spooky Love, and it is so cute.
It's so cute.
It looks like good wall art.
Yeah, I actually don't even care if these books are good or not, but I want them in print because they're adorable. So I know we just did a Josie Silver, but I will be reading these whether we do them for the podcast or not.
Yes.
I don't think we can repeat Josie like that as much as we love her. But otherwise, we've got some good
Which
contenders. There's going through this People article. We've got one called Full Moon Over Freedom that has a pretty hot cover. Oh, a second chance romance. There's, let's see, what else we got here? None of these are really grabbing me. But anyway, we've got some solid options. I have a few in my NetGalley, and I was going through my NetGalley today, and I realized that because I didn't like read a single book last September, October because I was going through my divorce. All of my Halloween romances from last year that I didn't read, I still have, baby. So I got so much good work to do. The same thing is true for most of my Christmas ones because I was still I was reading, but I wasn't really reading romance. So yeah, I'm like, real shout out to my ex moment right there of like, now I've got 2 years worth of spooky and Christmas romance. Like, Hell yeah. Although I did go down a rabbit hole because, as you know, Abigail, my boyfriend is Jewish. And so I was like, we got to find more Jewish romances. Not a lot of them. Not a lot of them.
Well, I started reading that one and I didn't like it. Obviously not because it was...
Right.
I didn't like it because I was boring.
Okay, let me amend that. We get a lot of Jewish romances. We don't get a lot of Hanukkah-specific romances, which is what I was looking for.
Well, yeah, we got to do some research this year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, real 50% heads know that last October we were reading a spooky and then had to go on hiatus instead of doing an episode about it. Because we were both going through some big, fun, tough falls. So we're back, baby. A year later, harder, better, faster, stronger.
Truly.
We're fine.
Truly.
What are you reading now otherwise?
What am I reading now? A couple of things, as always, but I'm still working my way through the rest of the Crowns of Nyaxia series, my horny vampires, as Phil likes to call them. Shit just got real. I'm on the most recent book right now, so I'm reading that. But I'm also listening to a thriller that I can't figure out how I feel about it. It's called Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. And I think I've read one of her books before. I don't know. I'm listening to the audiobook. The audiobook is very well done. But what I have sort of a strange feeling about is it's sort of a fictionalized, it is a fictionalized version of Ted Bundy's story, but from the perspective of like two of the women impacted by this like unnamed serial killer in the book. And it's like, if you know anything about Ted Bundy, you're like, oh, this is Ted Bundy. And it's not doing it in a way that glorifies him, but I just feel really strange about real people's lives being fictionalized in that way.
Yes.
Like I was thinking about it the other day because Phil and I were talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because we were talking about Tarantino and like the good things that Tarantino has done and the questionable things that Tarantino has done. And I was like, yes. I hated Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because you can't just change someone's real life story like that. Like that's insane. And so I kind of feel similarly about this, but it's very much the feminist take on the story. On
the other hand of Tarantino changing real life, he did give us a great visual of Hitler getting his face shot off in Inglourious Bastards. So
it's true.
There is good and bad.
Yeah.
Do with that. So I watched Inglourious Bastards recently. Holds up. Good movie.
This is actually that movie is exactly how Phil and I got on the Tarantino topic because we were talking about our favorite war movies, and Inglourious Bastards is my favorite war movie.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Sure.
It counts. It counts.
It does count. Katie doesn't have the affinity for war movies that I do.
I don't, which is why Inglourious Bastards is my favorite. I mean, okay. Saving Private Ryan is probably the best war movie, but I'm not going to rewatch it the way you do.
I do watch Saving Private Ryan pretty often.
I know. But, like, to me, Inglourious Bastards is, like, the most rewatchable war movie for me personally.
That's true. The thing I think about a lot with books or movies and things like that is like where the catharsis is. Inglourious Bastards gives you a catharsis that maybe the actual World War II doesn't.
Yes.
In other war movies you get to see Hitler like literally explode, which is awesome. And then that was the thing I was thinking about in this book is like there's not really a catharsis there, but there is a quiet moment of peace.
Yes.
And also something I've been thinking about a lot in terms of people probably will know that Mad Max Fury Road is my all-time favorite movie and one I have seen countless times. I've only seen Furiosa once, and it is a hard movie to think about rewatching because it is deeply sad and there is not the same kind of catharsis that you get from Fury Road.
Right.
However, I am ready to do a double feature. You have to follow it with Fury Road. Because when you follow it with Fury Road, you know Furiosa gets her happy ending.
Right.
So, anyway, this has been the Mad Max Fury Road pod. I'll shut up about it now. But regardless, catharsis is something that I feel like I always need to feel like real satisfied.
Well, and that's what I do like about this book that I've been listening to, is it sort of like gives the women that Ted Bundy victimized a voice in the way they never really had it. But I don't know, it just makes me feel kind of icky. And I didn't fully realize when I picked the book up that it was sort of a retelling of this story. I was like, oh, a thriller, like going into like, you know, I've been reading some like heavier like nonfiction and stuff lately, and I was like, I just need like something to listen to, like a thriller to listen to. And this popped up on my like Spotify, and I was like, oh, word, like I'll do that. Like I kind of read the blurb, but like not really. So I was just like, whatever, like thriller, great, serial killer, here we go. And not quite what I expected, but it's very well written, it's very well done. I just don't know how I feel about the overall premise of it.
Sure, yeah.
So,
well, on that note, our next read, as we've discussed, is now. I already forgot the title.
I also forgot the title of it. Hold on. Which you would.
Thank you. By Leah Amador.
Yep.
About. I'm doing fine. Everything's fine.
I don't have room in my brain for any new information right now. Over the weekend, I gotta dump it out somehow. Because I start a new job on Monday.
Katey starts a new job on Monday, everybody.
Yeah.
Aren't we excited? We are excited.
We are excited. We are excited. Yeah, Abigail and I will work in the same building again on the days that we go in.
People do not know what's coming for them.
They don't know what they've unleashed. It's about to get loud in there.
It's about to get loud. Well, I was being in Houston this week in my office, which I'm not in super often, I was like, I'm going to have somebody to eat lunch with. Like, I eat lunch by myself now.
We can bring our little sardines.
I know, and go eat outside so we're not menaces, which is...
Sardine lunch.
Yeah,
I hope the people of the Statesman newsroom love to hear women cackle, because between me, and Michaela...
Hey, yeah, it's good. It's, you know what, that we're gonna bring some life back into the newsroom.
Yep, welcome back. Welcome
back, baby.
Anyway, we will see y'all next time for
spooky season,
and the first cold front of the year hits like today as this is coming out. So fuck yeah, let's go.
Here we go. We're
ready.